Hola. Hola, everybody. Eve, how are you? Greta, Maria. Estoy bien, gracias. That reminds me, I was teaching today, and oh my God, my poor little student. Between the ser y estar, she was having such a time. But I keep telling her, I said, you just stick with it, and before you know it, you're going to get it. It's not that difficult, but it is, because you don't think like that in English. I'm staying in today and I'm trying a different, this is facing my kitchen because it is so hot out there today. Summer has arrived. So today is ad lib, ask your questions. I do not have a topic. I couldn't think of anything that you guys want to talk about. I just finished a consultation call and the same issues, the timing of the visas. So you don't have to spend money doing multiple scouting trips because, it adds up to get your paperwork and coming in and maybe get your temporary and then your permanent. So if anybody has questions about that, because the timing is important. I'm facing the window, so the natural light. Yes. So I am well. I had my second cooking class yesterday and I was tired afterwards. So I don't know. It's up in the air if I'm going to continue with those. I just had to take something off my plate, not keep adding on. And I still have things that I haven't done. I haven't worked on my cookbook. I started working on the logo. I told you guys I was going to look for a logo for single women retiring abroad. The one that we're using right now is just like a basic, I don't know what you would call it. It's not one of those avatar. It's not like that, but it's just like bland. So I was looking for something that more accurately reflected us as a sisterhood. Women that look different, togetherness kind of thing, right? Usually, I've used Fiverr.com, but it looked like they're working differently. You used to post your order, your job order, and then you got multiple people, um, uh, contractors, I guess, respond. But this time they just didn't give me that option. And you had to actually invite people to bid on your job. And also, they want you to know, hola from Facebook, whoever's watching. And then it's like, what is your budget? And when you tell them the budget, and then, hey, Miss Florida, how are you? I was just watching something. You were talking about nature, Florida. This is my hero. This lady, I think she's older than I, but she's done a lot of things. She finished her um, what is it again? The Peace Corps term where I ran away, I chickened out. She stuck it out. So she's my hero. And I see that you had company. I forgot the name of the lady who came to visit you. That's lovely. But anyway, I need to work on that. We need to work on the website for single women retiring abroad. We also need to, because I have a mailing list that could be a cash cow if I could just get a way to capitalize on that. It's just so much to do, not enough time, right? And if I hire somebody to do that, then I have to pay them. So let's see. If you have any question, put a Q in front of it, of course. Taking some things off your plate. Yes, Greta, thank you. Yes, some days I feel like I'm back in the States, but it's still a little different, right? Because the things that I'm doing are things that I want to do, that I'm putting on myself, but I have to watch it, right? So yesterday, after I finished, they left about close to 8, and I have my neighbor here who had surgery, so I saved some of my food. And let me tell you what we had. I made ratatouille with the marinara, yum. And then I poached some tuna, yum. And then I made rice and black beans. And the ladies were like, we're hungry. Where do we eat? I'm like, you can't rush perfection. So they went quick, quick, quick. So they said, well, next time we need to do a one pot meal. Well, I'm not a one potter. I am not a one potter because I know Greta asked about those too. You know, putting everything in your veggies, your beans, your rice. I don't know if I like that, but that's what they're thinking about. Something quick. All right. So I was tired, and then I took some. Oh, and we had roasted beets. So I took some to my neighbor downstairs, and she was feeling a lot better. She was talking, still had her dressing on some surgery. So after that, I came home and I just crashed. I mean, the kitchen needed to be clean. I'm like, it will wait till tomorrow. And I didn't get to it today until my class was at 10. I think I started cleaning about 8:30. So now the house is spotless and I'm a happy camper. Isn't it nice to have your house looking clean? Your floors are clean, your kitchen, my kitchen. I'm really anal about my kitchen. So I'm a happy camper. So I had class at 10, class at 12. I had a call at 2, and then I'm here. That's 4 things on my plate today. And then when I finish here, I have to complete the notes for each class. I have to prepare their homework to send to them. And then I have to send some stuff to my lady. Thank you, Florida. And when I make a call, I take notes. So whatever they need, any kind of referrals or information about lawyers and other things. So it's like you finished a call, but you're not really done. And I like to get things off my plate right then. I don't like to keep things for the next day or later. And then after that, I was like, maybe I could go catch a movie, but not today. Not today. The masseuse was here last week. I could not even fit it in to get a massage. But at the mall here, they have the chairs, or you could sit there and then they do your neck and your shoulders. I think I'll do that next week. That's kind of a cheap way to get some, a little bit of TLC. But I'm looking forward to not this week, next week. I go to Guatemala. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited, and I haven't really done much research. I'm gonna get to your question in a second. Don't go anywhere, okay, Laura. Um, I booked a walking tour, because I only have 5 days, and I'm gonna be smack during Semana Santa, meaning because these countries are very Catholic, and Easter is a big thing. So I fly in on Thursday. I think it's like a two-hour, 2.5 hour flight. It's really close because I think we're still in Central America, right? And then on Friday, the next day, Friday, thank you, Greta. I'm doing a walking tour. I could have done everything, but I find the walking tours are good because they kind of take you to the places that you want to see. Like they always have convents and some old churches, and I'm all about that. And then Saturday, I don't think I have anything on Saturday, but a lot of the things are closed because remember, it's Easter Eve, so you're gonna commit the sin if you. So a lot of things are closed. So I guess on Saturday I got to make sure I get some food. On Friday, just snacks, I guess, just in case things aren't open. Because let me tell you, when I was in Peru, it was very Catholic and religious, and so and then Sunday, definitely I want to find a church to go to Easter Sunday. I'm bringing my white dress and some flats so I can go. Oh, my hat! I can't wear a hat. Mm-mm. I don't know how to carry that in my suitcase because I'm only taking a carry-on. I do not even drag one of those little, what do you call that? It's a carry-on? Yeah. But I have a backpack. I don't even drag a carry-on. I just do a backpack and I have my crossbody. I got a new crossbody. I had a cheapo crossbody that I bought here at Cinco de Mayo. It worked, but the little handle kind of broke in two places, and I was like, I need a new one. So I went to a place and I got a leather one. It's nice. I kind of paid a little money, but if you're getting quality, it's okay. So Easter Sunday, then we're gonna have to see what I eat on Sunday because I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna be en familia, right? So, and then Monday, I booked it's a long day tour of the Mayan culture. We're gonna take boats and go visit, some Mayan cultures. I'm so excited about that. The only thing I wish I had time to schedule is a food tour. I'm a foodie, so I have everywhere I get, I have to do a food tour. So maybe on Saturday, if I can find a place that does a food tour, but I'm not being optimistic because it's right before Easter and chances are nothing's going to be open. So it's just going to be for 5 days. I just wanted to experience Easter and Friday evening, of course, for Good Friday. That's when they have the procession, when they carry the Jesus on the thing, and they were black, and they wrote it from side to side. It's really interesting. We do it here too. The first year I saw it here, I was so excited, somber, and I was like really emotional. And then Sunday, Easter Sunday, when they roll Jesus on one thing and then Mary on the other thing, and they meet, and then all the bells start ringing, and here in Panama they just throw confetti and everybody's screaming and singing. It's so beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's exciting for the following week. All right. The question, let me go back. Is the war affecting Panama economy with the high gas prices? I was told that the prices were going up yesterday. Now, I don't drive, so I'm not directly affected, but Panama, some people have money here, but of course, the majority of people don't. So I'm pretty sure it's going to hit pocketbooks. But remember, once the gas prices go up, it's going to affect whatever. I heard this woman talk about. What does she call it again? The logistics of carrying things, food, and everything from one side to the other. It's going to start hitting, and then prices are going to go up. I went to the store yesterday. I can't say that I noticed that yet. It's going to take a little bit for you to see that reflected in the prices. I think the first question I missed it. Is there an issue with any backlogs due to people wanting to leave? Not that I know of yet. What has been documented right now is the rental prices have gone up just because so many people are trying to rent. It's taking longer to get an apartment because the owners are not playing ball. They're not, bending over backwards to get your business. This is high season here in Panama, which starts in May. I'm sorry, it starts in December through like end of April, early May. So we're smacking it. So the streets, the malls are full of visitors, which is great for the economy. So Airbnbs, hotels are doing well, but I don't know if they increase the prices in this season. I'm pretty sure supply and demand, right? But in terms of visa processes, I have not heard that. Yes, definitely there is a notable increase in people wanting to move here. I see them in my building, I see them in the streets, I see them in the mall. A lot of them walk in packs. You'll see a family of like 5, 10 walking the streets, and I see a lot more people with children coming here. I see a lot more couples, not retirees, but like middle age, right? And some people are digital nomads or they have a job they can do online, so they're here. So the attorneys are the ones making the money, right? And also, I have heard that the pricing for getting the visa has gone up. In fact, one of my friends, she's en route from Mexico to here today. So, but people are also talking about having your plan B, your plan C, in case something happens here with this canal. That's always a hot potato. Where would you go? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna go into my closet and sit there or in the bathroom and wait. and read it out. I don't know where else to go. There's no place to hide. So listen, make sure everything is good with your heart. Talk to your family. Do what you can. The other day, this girl was on, I keep saying TikTok. I don't know. I'm not on TikTok. But she's talking about how to get ready and she's talking about getting something to protect herself. And I'm like, ooh, they're getting serious about it. It reminds me of Y2K. Do you remember Y2K? People were losing their mind. And I remember being in the streets like about 11:30, chasing my teenage son, making sure he had his little butt at home before the 12 midnight, before the clocks. And then you sit there. Midnight came, we looked, nothing happened. 12:15, 12, nothing happened. So I believe in, making yourself safe. Of course, definitely having some cash on hand, having perishable food that you can, remember, I'm not a proponent of prepackaged food, but you need to have like an emergency stash, for something you can survive on, water. Make sure I don't have a portable radio, flashlights, water, some canned food, something that you can survive on in case something happen. I don't know. Because, if there is anything that disrupts supply chain, that's what she called it, that disrupt anything, your money is the first thing to be affected because the ATMs would be, right? It's like whenever there's a hurricane in Florida, we always had to go to the bank, get some cash just in case we can't use our credit card. So same principle, but you just do what you can. I don't think you can prepare for every eventuality, and I'm one of those, I have a fatalistic attitude about everything. It's like, I just don't want to be suffering. But whatever happens, bring it on. Nothing I can do about it. If there's something I can do, I do it. I do what I can, and then I leave it up to the Lord. But the visas, we haven't heard that there is any backlogs. It's still taking between 4 and 6 months to get your permanent residency after you get your temporary. Remember that, right? And I think in looking at the chats that I see in some of the other chats, they say it's taking about 5 months for people to get their permanent residency. And of course, we're getting an increase because of the increased number of people coming who are not of retirement age. They are doing the Friendly Nation visa. And Jackie Lang did a nice video earlier this week about how to get the Friendly Nations visa. So I would encourage you to go to her channel, Panama Relocation Tour. I've never spoken to her, but I mentioned her a lot. I'm putting her channel in here, Panama Relocation Tours.com. Now, we may be competitors. I don't think I can compete with Jackie. She's been here since 2010, so she's the queen of everything Panama. She knows everything about Panama. She's also a shrewd businesswoman with multiple businesses. So but she gives out a lot of information on her website. You can get information about bringing pets here, all the visas. She even did a something about all the care facilities here, and I refer to that a lot. So we watch each other's channel. Of course, you know how that goes. So she did one about the Friendly Nations visa this week, and I always listen to stuff like that because this is not my thing. I'm more into the pensioner visa because that's the group, my group, right? But she helps people of all ages, right? She'll talk about getting it for the children, your driver's license. I don't have a driver's license, so I'm not an expert on that. And all kinds of other things, how to bring your furniture and other things to the logistical parts of it. So, all right. So check out her website, then you're gonna find lots of information. So still about 5 months to get your permanent from the temporary here. No delays that I've been heard about. And Panama is just such a quiet, calm country. People, I mean, when you get into a Uber, they're watching the news. The other day, this guy was watching a football game while he was driving me around, and I'm like, Lord, help me, you know? They're always listening. They have talk radios, people with opinions about everything that's happening. Some of them, the people here are very politically, I don't want to say polarized, but very involved. And if somebody says something, they're like, oh, yeah, you're ladron too, and you are taking money here and there. So they always have something to say. And people talk about corruption in Panama. We know there's corruption everywhere, right? And I haven't been as good as watching the news as I used to be before. So I need to get back to that. Um, and the thing about little girls, the abuse and all that, that's still going on, unfortunately. Um, so now with this, with high prices, who knows, right? And Panama is developing country. It's not a third world country. Don't ever say that. You're going to hurt somebody's feelings. But we have a lot of things going for us. But like any country, we have things that we could work on. All right. Uh, Hola, Minimi. Hey, ¿cómo estás? Long time no see. She was here last night. It's yummy. The one potters, especially with green and chicken, yummy. I put all types of green onions. What are you talking to about? What are you talking about, Greta? I have no idea what you're describing here. Garlic, cabbage. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, you mean you're talking about the menu I had last night? I don't know. I see they are getting ready for the high holy day. Oh yes, like Mother's Day. Oh my God, yes. Easter is a big day in Panama. Hi, Joe. ¿Cómo estás, my friend? Beautiful curly-haired one. Tawana, Dr. Tawana, how are you? My ladies are still talking about you, and I keep watching you gardening. I'm jealous. She's got a green thumb. I have a black thumb. But I think if I had time, I would invest in like a little spot area so I can try to grow at least some herbs. But my plants are surviving, but I'm not good at planting. I'm not a plant mom by any means. I believe it's a gift. I have other gifts. That's what I tell people. I have other gifts. I can cook, but I can't do planting. I don't know gardening. No. Yes, so Easter is the whole week, Holy Week, Semana Santa, se llama Semana Santa, the Holy Week. So, from Lent, the Catholic Church is really strong here in Panama. And the Monsignor, who is it Archbishop? He's a very charismatic, likable gentleman. I haven't met him personally, but I have been to the Catholic churches just to kind of watch him. He's always very loving to his people. He's always politically involved, like most Catholic bishops, right? And they have different things going on starting Monday through Sunday, right? Excuse me. I think they coined a term, holy tourism or something like that, where in the old city here called Casco Viejo, they have this place is becoming like it's a gathering place. We have concerts. They have Sundays. They call Peotanal, where people are in the streets, music, dancing. They always have the pollera dancers there. I will tell him you said hello. Oh, thank you. Dr. Hilliard said when she comes back in August, she's going to help me start a patio garden. That's wonderful. And I don't know if I told you this week we had our meeting after your meeting last month, and we had somebody talk about it was making your dollars stretch in retirement, something like that. So right after your talk, so we did that. That was still in the spirit of being good steward of our money in retirement. All right. Yes. So they are marketing, they usually use that week to bring more tourists in the area. So we have like seven, I don't want to say historical churches in that area. In fact, there's a tour called the Seven Churches. I've done that tour last year with a friend, and we went to Santo Domingo Church. They have the cathedral, which is where all the dignitaries of the Monsignor, they have events there. And there's a big open area right in front of it. That we have ballet, we had salsa, we had all kinds of stuff. So they are going to market that week again to attract more visitors. And when the cruise ships dock, they have big buses that bring the visitors into the city. And that old city is the second most visited spot in Panama City, only after the canal. Everybody wants to see the canal, and they should. And then they go to the old city. So they're gonna have something every single week. They have people working on it for months to put things together. And in fact, I've done some events, and I go there, and of course it's packed. You got to get there early. But Friday, Good Friday, is definitely a must see. Now the challenge is that it's hot. It is hot. Okay. I remember last year we had lots of visitors, people from Canada, South Africa, because it was right when the tariff thing started and people were just moving their vacation spot down south, and Panama had benefited from that. So they have children from other parts of the country, they have bands, and they usually have like police academy type band, with all the trombones and everything. And then on Friday, because it's somber, remember, this is Jesus' death. It's not like we're going to have loud music. And on that day, we call that Dia Seco. Dia Seco means dry day. That means on Good Friday, you cannot buy alcohol anywhere. You can have it in your house if you want to drink it, but if you're a good Catholic, you're not going to have it. Dia seco. So you cannot go in the store. So bars will be closed. And if you go into a food store, the aisle where they sell alcohol is going to be cordoned off, it's going to be taped off. And I always tell that story that this girlfriend, I mean, she's an acquaintance. She said that when she first got here, she didn't know about Dia Seco. So she said she wanted a bottle of wine. And I think we have other days where you're not allowed to, like when they are celebrating like a summer day, like when we got bombed here or when people got killed. It's a summer day. You cannot have loud music, cannot be playing anywhere in the streets or in a public place, and you cannot buy alcohol. So she said she needed a bottle of wine, and she saw the tape. She didn't know what that was. She said she went underneath and grabbed the bottle. And she took it to the checkout. As soon as they saw it, she said the lady just grabbed it from her and put it down. It's like you can't buy that here today. I thought that was so funny. Oh my God. But anyway, so what's happening on Friday? They have things Monday through Thursday, but Friday is the big day when they carry Jesus on. I don't know what you call that. It's like a man-made um I don't know if you call it a bed or whatever. And then they put a picture of Jesus on there on the cross, of course, because that is Good Friday. And then you have people who volunteer. They have this big wooded thing where they grab, and then they wear this black monk like outfit, and then they practice a lot. They tell me to go from side to side, and that's what I want to see in Guatemala, right? They go from side to side while the band is either before them or after, I can't remember, singing this very somber music, right? And then they have some students come, and then they're walking, bum 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 bum, really down like this. And the Monsignor and other priests usually are in the front, leading the procession, procession, they call that the procession. And then they have a certain route, and then you have the public behind all that. I was in it one time, and I'm like, oh, I was Catholic and I'm a Christian. It's like very somber to watch. And then when you get to the church, and then there's a service and all that for communion and all that. And then on Saturday, I think they have something at Casco Viejo where they do like an overnight vigil, and it's like almost like Mary holding vigil after the death of her son or something. And then that's why on Sunday, when Jesus rises and Mary's happy, and they push the two floats like floats together, and they meet, and then that's when the bells start ringing. It is a sight. It is a sight. I think I read that there is a place in Europe that has the most famous Good Friday procession type thing, and then Guatemala is I think a second. I want to say, don't quote me on that, but it's and you don't have to be a Christian to enjoy that. This is just cultural, and you're just enjoying participating and being with the people, right? And I respect everybody's religion wherever I go, and I just want to see what it's like. That's all. I see. Cooking food in one pot. Okay. Oh my God, you're so funny. We can. Okay, did I miss something? Hola, señorita Maggie. Lynette, ¿cómo estás? Desde Inglaterra. Okay, it's nighttime for her. Evening. Are there many beginning sewing classes? Uh-oh. You're asking the wrong person. I do not know about sewing at all. But some people sew. I saw a sewing station at the big Albrook Mall on the second floor. So people can inquire about that. I'm sure they have sewing clubs and stuff like that. Sure. Auntie, ¿cómo estás? Have you been to many art galleries that show Panamanian and other kinds of? Oh, yes, lots of them. And in Casco Viejo, we have several museums, right? Where you could see Panamanian art. We have a museum called Bio Museum, where they take you from Panama, from the Stone Age all the way to now, the progression, and with not live, lifelike pictures showing the animals and all that. It's a really nice museum to visit. It's on the Causeway, but they have classic museums. Yes, I love going to them. And they have a museum called El Museo del Canal. It's called the Canal Museum. It really gives you the history of the canal, including the invasion of 1989. We get a lot more factual stuff with artifacts, which is really good. And believe it or not, for a small country like this, Panama City has lots of theaters where we have lots of different types of artistic events. They have like Broadway, like a not little program. We have lots of dances, ballet. Um, what else do they do? Concerts, right? I'm a classical music enthusiast, so I'm always wanting those because when I was in the States, I had what we call season tickets. We have an opera house. Is it house? Opera Panama, they call it, and they put opera things together, and that's usually fun. And in fact, there's a lady who's bi-coastal, and I don't think she's the head of it, but she's very heavily involved in that. And usually they do fundraising. And the thing that I like about the like we have the main theater is what do they call it in Casco Viejo? Teatro Nacional, I believe, and they would give free tickets to our kids' charities in El Chorillo. So we take these kids from the at-risk areas and we go and they'll give them free tickets to a show at the museum, at the gallery, or at the theater, which is lovely, which is lovely. Yes, there's also a big building that they opened maybe a year or two ago. I don't know. They call it Ciudad del Arte. Yeah, the city of art. We have city of knowledge, we have city of health, and we have city of art. where the kids can go in there and do all kinds of arts. That's awesome, right? You paid 5.49 a gallon for gas yesterday. Well, I think was it a week ago in California? It's always more expensive there. I think I saw like $7 and something for a gallon of gas, and the diesel they say was more expensive. And we use a lot of diesel here in Panama, lots. Are there many beginning sewing classes? I answered that. I don't know, but I'm sure there are. Hola, Naduela. Oh, that's a new name for me. Welcome, bienvenida. I worked on Capitol Hill during Y2K. Where did all the extra? I know. I mean, I remembered like it was yesterday, sitting there waiting for Armageddon to hit, but nothing happened. Come on. Greta, I'm with you, Maggie. I can't lean into fear. My goodness, it's too much on nervous system. That's right. Because your worrying and fretting is not going to make any difference. Um, I mean, you got to do what you can now, of course. We don't want to be oblivious, right? Cooking food in one pot. All right, Greta, I know that's what you want to do. People talk about Instapot. I don't have any of those. People talk about air fryers. I don't have any of those either. So I don't know. Dina Collins, I've seen your name. You just celebrated Niep. Okay, I don't know what that is in Indonesia. The whole country shuts down. What is Niep? N-Y-E-P. P-I? Niepi. For the day of silence. Wow, that's nice. Even the airports are closed. Really? No flights in and out. That will never happen in America. Too much money wasted. It's for meditation and reflection. Oh, Hindu celebration. Okay, I get it. I get it. Well, we have, like I said, we have those somber days and Dia Seco where it's supposed to be somber. And a lot of time they'll have some kind of state event where they're like folding a flag, or they'll shoot. Do they shoot cannon? I don't remember, but they'll have some kind of ceremony. There is, and Panama celebrates a lot of those. I think there was a fire that killed some people. They have a statue, and then they have an event for that. And when with the bombing, they have an event for that. They had an event for the kids that got killed when they had got into a scuffle with the Americans. So they do celebrate. But then in November, it's all about partying because that is when Panama got its independence. So the whole month of November, we celebrate La Independencia. Okay. Okay. Greta, I have a friend there and I want to experience Niepi. Okay. Yep. I think it's good for any one of us to just go silent sometimes, even like turn this stupid thing off sometime. Wouldn't that be nice? I know I'm on mine way too much. When my kids were little, we would do we call them fasting days where we would just shut off the television and turn off the phone. We did maybe 2 or 3 days. We did that when the kids were growing up. We wanted to make sure, they could live without a stupid television. Friday would be Good Friday. Things may be closed. Friday, which Friday? This week? Oh, I mean next week. No, next week. Oh, yeah, next week is Good Friday, is it? I don't know that everything is closed on Good Friday. They may close early, but the thing that we do here in Panama too, the whole Semana Santa, we eat lots of fish, lots of fish. So, and we are between two oceans, so lots of fish, and the prices do get up a little bit. And Easter is a big day of familia, right? Pascua, Dia de Pascua, La Pascua. So it's a lot of eating, just like us. Every time there's a holiday, we eat, they drink. They don't get drunk so much here. People may drink, but I don't see people rowdy and no. But they do celebrate. They used to have a lot more fireworks, though. I haven't seen too many fire. They have little individual people can, I guess. What do you do with those? You blow them. But we used to have like big orchestrated, but I haven't seen those in a while because I'm close to where they used to come, and I haven't seen one. Yes. And I'm from a Catholic faith when I grew up, we used to eat beets a lot, which I love beets, but you put beets in your food, it's like a pictorial depiction of the blood of Jesus. That's the way I grew up. And then lots of eggs on Friday, not eggs, fish on Friday. God forbid you put a piece of meat in your mouth, you're going to be damned to hell. No meat, only fish. So we eat a lot of fish here in Panama. And whenever they have a holiday, they'll have, like on Sunday, it's like they'll be released from the Lent restrictions. So they can have chicken, turkey called pavo, and pierna de cerdo, the leg of the pig pig leg. They call it pierna de cerdo. So they eat the rice and everything else. And that famous red potato salad, right? Ensalada de papa de fiesta. See. All right. Dina, yes, experiencing other cultures is deeply moving. Yes. Last year, a tourist decided to go for a job, was arrested. Was it in Indonesia? But you always have these expats who just don't give a what about people's rules. Like yesterday, I was going to the metro and this lady had a cup of coffee. We don't do that here in Panama. They tell you no eating or drinking anywhere in any estación de Panama, the metro. You're not going to see people on the bus with potato chips, sodas, none of that. But this lady, and she definitely looked American, had her coffee going down the escalator. I minded my own business. I didn't tell her anything. But there were no cops. Usually we have the police there. I was waiting to see if somebody was going to tell her something. But yeah, people like to just ignore the rules and want to do, how it is, that mentality. Was arrested, huh? Okay. I guess they learned, huh? And that's why before you move to a country, you need to know the rules of the country, right? Panama sounds so amazing. I'm trying to learn to live with the heat. Are you here in Panama, Dina, or you are in Indonesia? Well, the heat is really bad right now. And it's in the news that Panama is experiencing a higher level of heat. Yes. Now, where my apartment is, the sun rises at 6:30 every day, any time of the year, and it goes down about the same time. So you have almost 12 hours of sunlight. So when you wake up in the morning, if I want to see the sunrise and look at the skies pretty, I have to get up like around 5:30 or 6. Because by 6:30, the sun is coming out and it is bright. So 7, I can't even sit on the patio from where I am because it's already too hot. So I try not to be out there in the streets about 10 to 2 or 3 because that's when the rays are highest. And even if I'm wearing a hat or a thing, it's just too hot. So I don't walk in the morning anymore. I'd rather go to the gym and I can watch him and there's a little AC and and a fan. Yes, I don't. Maria, it sounds amazing. And do some people get emotional during the procession? I did get emotional. I remember I got emotional. But I think for the locals, it's more a somber day. And they believe really strongly about, Jesus, Mary, and the saints. I remember when I was Catholic, that was a big thing. And then when they would question them on TV, they would say, "Oh yeah," because they celebrate the saints too. It's not just Jesus and Mary. They have Santa Librada, San Jose, San Mateo, all kinds of saints. And then they'll say, "Oh, I prayed to the saint and he delivered me. He healed me or my sister or whatever." And then even they have Catholic channels. They'll send their, how we do in the Protestant church, your prayer request. Yeah, they would say, "Pray for my going for surgery or this and that." So sometimes you'll talk to someone and they say, "Yes, San Mateo helped me with this or that." And of course, in true Catholic church form, the churches are open almost every day. You'll find somebody sitting, maybe sometime taking in the AC or the fan just to get away from the heat, but somebody would be in there. So if you are visiting a city, there's usually going to have a Catholic church, usually pretty and white, usually right across like a square, or I think that's what they call it, a square, right? Right across the, or close to the church. People sit around, mulling around, just enjoying themselves. Yes. And when I was traveling, every time I go to a small little town, I find the church and find the square and sit there and watch people. Sometimes they just sit there doing nothing, especially the older gentlemen. They like to sit there reading the little papers and just watching the world go by. It's an easy, calm, quiet type of life. And but they are very attached to their churches and to their traditions. um Now, I don't know if you heard about the Black Christ in Portobello, which is outside of Cologne. The Black Christ, there's a whole story about how that black Jesus got dumped pretty much on the shores of Panama. And they have a day, is it in May, where they celebrate that? But people do pilgrimage towards that spot in Portobello. They were just like you have the monks now walking somewhere in the States, right? They would start from, let's say, David, which is about 7 hours drive. And this guy was walking from there all the way to where the Black Jesus is. And I've seen people dragging themselves in the street doing some kind of penance or penance, because they want something. So there is all that you got. And then when you look at it, you're like, "Oh, that's weird." No, this is their tradition and you respect that. So there's a lot of that going on in Panama. Very religious. And I told you, I don't know if I told you, 2 years ago, I was traveling, or was it 3 years ago? I was traveling throughout the country and I was in a little town called Chitre. Chitre is smack in the middle of Panama, right? And it was around Easter. So I went to the church on a Saturday afternoon, and they were having the Easter service because a lot of Catholic churches now hold services on Saturdays, right? Even when I was growing up, that was going on. And I sat there, they had a service, it lasted 3 hours. And I was sitting there, I was the only person of color in there. So I sat there, they looked, I'm like, "Hola, hola." And then I love that service because the Spanish influence was very strong in that area. And of course, my power of observation, I'm like, these people are really strongly Spanish, the way they dress. The ladies, their hair, short hair, little miniature earrings, and very Spanish Española. And the ladies were wearing pantyhose. And I was like, whoo, getting a hot flash just watching them with their And during the service, they have music, and the music they were singing was with the Spanish guitar. I love Spanish guitar. So I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, I'm in heaven. Then the priest came around, was to bless the congregation. He blessed some kind of water, and he has this little thing, and he would go in the middle, and he was just spraying people. And I just getting my head close, and I'm like, spray. When he turned around, I put my head again. I got sprayed 3 times. Listen, whatever blessing he was passing around, I wanted part of it, and I got some. Oh, that was funny. Maggie, oh, okay. Greta, Maggie, Auntie, and I were talking about going in the closet because we have no control over nothing. Well, you better go in the closet. You guys are so bad. Okay. All right. Did I miss something? Oh, Greta, you're crazy. Uh, yes, we answered that for Maria. Yeah, I got emotional. I'm sure some people do. Dina, that's all I want to do is to live in the heat. Yep, she's in a warm place now. She was so cold, poor thing. Mar- Marlon Williams, hello from Detroit. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I will be there soon and I cannot wait. Yeah, welcome. Bienvenido. Niepi, I love it. Sacred holiday. Okay. Yep. Is it celebrated in Mexico? No say. I don't think I see that here, but we do have an Indian community here. And sometimes they have uh, I don't want to say parade, but they celebrate some holiday and they're in the street with their thing. So I don't know. So there is a little bit of everything here. We have a not too far from me. There is a mosque here. So we have Muslim people here, uh, and then we have the Indians. Even though it's still mostly Catholic. So I would say between 70 plus of the population is Catholic here. Um, but they do have some Baptist, international, Protestant churches, non-denominational. Yeah. And that's another video I need to do, but it requires me to go out there and find some more information. Dina, sounds like November is a good time to visit. What month do you recommend for celebration? Definitely November. In May, we have what we call La Etnia Negra, which is the month of Black ethnicity. It's not celebrated like you think of it in like Black History Month. It's not that. It is just a month to celebrate the ethnic Black ethnicity in Panama. As you know, Panama is multi-ethnic. You have the indigenous, you have the Spanish, you have Afro-Caribbean, there is Chinese, they have other Asian cultures here. So in May, the whole month of May is called La Etnia Negra. And that is a month where we have lots and lots. Almost every day there's something going on, every part of the country. And the thing that's beautiful about the way we celebrate here is that everybody embraces that celebration. So it doesn't matter what color shade you are, you may see them wearing some kind of African print shirt or skirt or head wraps. The little kids, so everybody celebrate. They go to the office with it. So there's a lot of celebration. And of course, when you think about Afro-Caribbean, Caribbean people, lots of music, food, and a lot. Okay. Galas and music, dancing. Yes. Cologne, a lot of the Congo culture. And then the thing that I noticed when I started going to some of the events is that they would have presentation at a lot of the local theaters to celebrate La Etnia Negra. And then, because I don't know if you know, the Jamaican influence is strongest in Cologne, and then you have other Caribbean influences in like Bocas del Toro, like Trinidadian, Barbadians, and some of those other islands are represented there. So whenever we have events, they'll have the Congo dancers from Cologne, and then they'll have dancers from Bocas del Toro where they're dancing to calypso. It's a different type of energy and dance. It's nice to see. I kind of like to see that, but I embrace all cultures myself, so I enjoy all of it. Do they eat bun and cheese for Easter? Yes, ma'am, they do. That bun, yes. Well, they do the bun all year long, but you can have your bun. I'm scared of it. It's so dense, but yes, they do. When you put that piece of cheese with it, and I'm like, what do you put cheese in there? I'm like, that's tradition. I'm like, okay. Yep. Remember to click and like. Thank you so much, Lynette. You're so good. You're in Indonesia. It's hot here. Oh, I can imagine. There's a lady I interviewed from Indonesia. She'd been there 43 years. She went took a job. She thought it was just going to be like a short term assignment, and she said she stayed. And she lives in a beautiful home. I think she said she pays 250 a month. It's like, oh, I see ya. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yes. 6:30, same here in Indonesia. Wow. Yes. I became a mall walker, and you can do that here too. And I tell people, one of our malls is humongous. It goes and wraps around. I said, when it's hot, this is the place to come to get your steps. Yes, our book. Mm-hmm. The weather is crazy. Poor Hawaii is flooded. Isn't that sad? I just can't imagine Hawaii. I remember I've been there a couple of times. Such a beautiful place, but we are always, the volcanoes and stuff like that. There were always, threats to that beautiful island. And then after the fires in Lahaina, which is a place I had visited and I can even visualize, they don't even talk about it anymore. So what's happening with these people? They probably lost their land. Hmm. I better hush. All right. Uh, intense heat will be a challenge for you, but are you willing to give it a try? I was talking to this lady today. That's her concern as well. But I told them Panama has multi climates. You can go different places and experience different climates. Of course, the beach areas are going to be warm. The city is warm. David is warm. But everywhere else, it's like, even outside of the city, Altos de Maria, what's the other one? Cerro Azul. Those are like 15, 20 minutes outside of Panama City, but you have a bit of elevation. I think Jackie talks about so many degrees lower depending on how many feet higher you are, right? So the higher you are, the cooler it is, and the less AC you're gonna need. Like Boquete, in the rainy season, it kind of sprinkles and rains every single day. Everything is lush and green, but to get your business done, before 10 a.m. That's just the way it is, and they love it. They live with it. I don't particularly care for Bukete to live. I visit and I say I'm going back to the city. And I never used to be a city girl, but I like this city because of the accessibility. For me right now, it works. But if you go to places like Volcan, um, Boquete, and other places, and you hit, a little bit of high elevation, it's gonna be cooler. Hmm. Yep. And then, like I say, you stay indoors, and like I've been inside today. Whenever I need to go out, when I finish here, I might go out there and walk the Malecon and get some fresh air. And in the evening, there's a breeze usually that come from the ocean, and so it's not so bad. And I tell the lady the same thing. I said, okay, when you're talking about the heat, the heat, the heat, some people is like, oh my God, the rainy season. I'm like, come on. It doesn't rain every day and all day. No, it is a tropics, right? So you need to say, okay, what is my why? Why did I move to Panama? Hmm? So if you have a strong why, less stress, fresh food or whatever, then the heat, you learn to live with it. Work with it. Don't let one thing be a stumbling block or just fill your head with, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. Get there and ask people, how do you manage it? It's not that big a deal. You're not going to be sitting outside all day long. So why are you fretting? Don't. Okay? The black rice, yes. Have you lived there for a while? I've been here 3 years. 3 years and 2 or 3 months? Yes, I'm getting there. My friend invited me to line dancing at 3 p.m. No air conditioning. We have line dancing when we do our Fridays. Next Friday, I'm going to have the party here, but we're indoors. And we're still sweating. You start moving around, you're still sweating. All right, guys, we ask you to hit the like button. I see 30 and only 13 likes. Come on. No bueno. You guys love my little line. No bueno. Even Greta said she was saying no bueno to the to the Uber driver. I'm like, Greta, did you understand what you're saying? 1 year retirement visa in Indonesia. We have 71. Oh, wow. That is a lot. And again, I was trying to talk to this lady and I said, when you look at it, look at any other country's visa process. I think Panama's is the easiest. You're only required to show $1,000 a month in steady income. That is low, okay? And I think I was reading a few months ago that the Philippines had lowered their requirements, I guess, to lure more expats in, but that is low. And of course, I always say, do not think that number is what you need to live on. That is not what it is. And I saw another person said, how you can live in Panama for $1,000 a month. I would never make a video like that because I don't know how you do that, okay? I only talk about things that I know. And I don't ever want to mislead people, okay? And if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. That would be a no bueno. 71 types of visa, wow. And then the whole thing takes you about 6 months. Where else can you do that? And where else can they tell you you don't have any requirements to live in country? A lot of places you have to be there 6 months out of the year. We don't have that here. All you need to do is show up every 2 years, let them stamp your passport. Someone asked me, how long do you have to stay when you come? I don't know. I've heard somebody say 1 day. I heard Jackie say 1 day. I heard someone say 1 week. Ask your attorney. It's a beautiful, peaceful practice. I respect the culture. Coming from US, even my mango doctor, your mango, bless me with saying prayer to Virgin to cover me. How beautiful is that? The drunks are respectful. Okay. And that's another thing. I don't criticize people for their religion, to each his own. I believe in live and let live. And my mantra as I gotten older is I don't need to have an opinion about anything, especially about people's lives, beliefs, lifestyle. None of my business. I don't have to have an opinion. You do you, sis. I do me. Now give me my freedom to do my own thing, but you could do your own thing. What do you think? I don't have an opinion. I don't. So you can't say Maggie said. No, I don't have an opinion. Do your thing, live for yourself, and yeah, give it a try. You can adjust. And of course, when you come into a place where the temperature is different, your body has to adjust, right? When I moved from New York to Florida, you don't think I had to adjust? Yeah, I had to adjust, but I did. The thing that I had to adjust that was really weird was the intense summer storms. Oh my God, it used to scare the heck out of me because I was a home care nurse. I was in my car a lot. I mean, I could be driving like down the next block and then a deluge opened and the lightning and I used to be so scared. And of course, if I couldn't find a bridge to go under and wait, and then of course they tell you it's not safe for you to pull over on the side when you have a torrential rain. You can't see in front of you, and you park on the side. Somebody could come and just hit you. So it was scary. But then after a few years, I was like, I got this. You adjust, right? Dina, Maggie, I watch you and get good advice. The banks closed for Nyepi, and I had extra food and money. Yeah, the banks will be closed on major holidays here too. I'm pretty sure on Good Friday they'll be closed. I found I love rain. I love the rain. I really do. I go to cool off in the mountains. Um, the only thing about rain in a tropical area is, especially in a developing country, right? The infrastructure is still kind of fragile. And even in the city, when you have a torrential rain, we do have some flooded areas. And when you are, I'm not driving, thank God, and they tell you, like they tell you everywhere that in Florida, if a road is flooded, don't start walking through it. You don't know where there is a depression where you can fall in. Don't do that. And we have little crocodile and stuff that love to go into those waters. So you got to be careful. So that's why we tell people when it's rainy season, the same principle applies. Get your business done early and be in your home during the day, especially in the afternoon, which is when the rain seems to come heaviest in rainy season. But there's always a but. Last year during rainy season, I would be woken up in the middle of the night with this thunder. I mean, we'd have massive storms in the middle of the night, which is unheard of. But with climate change, anything impossible. Everything is more intense. What's happening in Hawaii, right? And so for us as a small country here with fragile infrastructure, when it rains a lot, lots of roads flooded, rivers going over their banks, mudslides, things just being washed away. And in Chiriquí, where they grow a lot of the food, crops were lost, things in the ground like potatoes and stuff washed away. So, and then one thing you notice here in Panama, I'm in a high rise, so I don't see it. But when I travel, the homes have no foundation. The rooms are flat on the ground. And I would say, well, this is weird. What happens when it rains? What do you think happens? They flood. But still, all these homes, kind of older, flat on the ground. Nothing is raised. I don't know. I'm not the engineer, but that's what I see. So we do have some flooding and mudslides, and things get washed away. And some neighborhoods are known for having that, like the places in San Francisco, in El Congrejo, not in my area here. So you kind of know. So I say stay away. Sometimes if I get caught in a heavy downpour and I'm at the metro station, I gotta wait a while because the water is like this high and it's strong. So I gotta wait until I can safely, because I don't want to put my foot in water this high. I don't know, because people have gotten infections by putting their foot in water like that. You don't know where you may have an opening on your skin, and no bueno. Don't do that. Stay home. Auntie, I'm going to tell you like it is. I don't sugarcoat anything. And if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. If I don't have any experience, I will not pretend. You know how I see so many people who've been here 6 months and they are an expert in everything. Well, I've been here 3 years and I'm not. So I don't know certain things because I'm not out there like that. I say, I got to find out. Or I don't know. I don't know is a good answer, right? Panama. Oh, I'm going to interview Peaky Girl on Monday. Okay, where was I? Panama visa process is the easiest. Unfortunately, walking is dangerous. That's scary. It's not dangerous. It's dangerous if you're not paying attention. First of all, make sure you wear the proper shoes. This is not the place for you to say, well, I had a pedicure yesterday, so I have to show my little toes. No. Okay? If you're going to show the little toes, get in the Uber back and forth and you're good. If you're going to be walking the streets like this person does, I have like 5 pairs of walking shoes. You get your comfortable tennis shoes with a nice little elevation, the heel, right? And then you walk. And you don't walk around, the tourists. Even if you're a tourist, you don't be walking, and that's when you fall into the ditches, okay? You don't do that. You don't do that. If you're going to take pictures, stop, take your picture, and then go. Because if you're not paying attention, the sidewalks are almost non existent. That is true. Sometimes they'll have a wide opening of, and I'm like, what is that there? Why is it open? You can fall in it. And you don't want to fall in when there is rusty things, infections, no bueno. Okay. And sometimes they'll have like a piece of iron, something just coming off the ground like this. I can tell you how many times, as careful as I am, that my front shoe would hit it, and I would, do this, but I haven't fallen yet, thank God. So even those little elevations are dangerous. Now there are some areas I don't know that's bad. And I think one of the things that's so funny, sometimes you come into a corner, a esquina corner, and then they'll have a depression with blue sign, with sometimes a sign of a handicap sign, right? I'm like, well, this is lovely. If you had a wheelchair, you can wheel down, but then when you cross and you get into the bumpy and no sidewalks here, it's really weird. Um, I haven't heard them talk about doing anything about that. I can't tell you that it's getting any better. The other thing I noticed that kind of, I don't want to say upsets me, concerning, is that on the buses, there are no lifts if somebody's in a wheelchair. So people who are mobility challenged, just stay home. Or if you're going somewhere, get an Uber. Hopefully you can transfer yourself from the wheelchair into the chair, or somebody helps you, right? But to be strolling around like you see out people crossing the road, not here. You don't see that. And even people in a wheelchair, sillas de rueda, that's how they call them. Somebody would be pushing them, but themselves doing it is very rare. Very rare. And I was talking to a young lady who was visiting her mom yesterday, and we were talking. We're like, "Where are the old people? We don't see old people in Panama." I said the same thing when I was in Africa. I said, "I don't see the old folks. I'm older. Where are they?" And this person said, "Oh, they went back home to the interior." I'm like, "Oh, you mean they're old back there? I don't know. I don't know." But yes, it can be dangerous. So be careful. But there are communities like Costa del Este that it is a newer planned community. They have beautiful sidewalks. But rent is more expensive and it's outside the city. So you either have to have a car or you're going to pay Uber back and forth. But I have seen, going back to the buses, I have seen bus drivers, some of them, not all of them are that kind, who would stop a bus, get out, and come around to at the exit door to help somebody with some mobility issues down. I've seen them do that. And a few of the newer buses have like, I know what you call that. They have the contraption that can be pulled to the side for somebody in a wheelchair to get in, but somebody has to lift them up from the outside to put them in the bus. Isn't that weird? No lifts, none. I haven't seen them. At the metro station, we do have elevators, but sometimes they're out. So if you are in a wheelchair and you decide to, you say, oh, I'm going to take the elevator, and the elevator is out, I would not go down those escalators in a wheelchair. This is the reality. And you have to look at all those when you decide to come to Panama with a disability or mobility issue. There's, Aisha, who is another creator, she travels, cerebral palsy, but she's still mobile. She walks. All right. But even then, she could be challenged with going up and down certain things. Live and let live. Yes. To each his own, sis. I have no opinion about people. What do you think? I don't think I have an opinion. You're not going to get me on that one. It saddens me that some expats here in Boquete complain about the cultural practices of Panamanians. Lively celebration. I love experiencing. Yeah, you always have the people who complain. And that's another thing. I have to bite my tongue to say, well, no one asked you to come. And I remember doing what do we call that? A pet sitting. I sat for this lady. I watched her cat during, was it Carnival? Well, Carnival gets really loud. You know, the reggaeton, they're like, oh, we go out of town during the time. Yeah, you can do that. Instead of complaining, just go. Arrange for your holiday to be around those time and go somewhere quiet. I don't think you can come to a country and complain about the people's culture. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't get into it. I don't get into discussion. I'm like, next, I'm moving. I got to go, sis. I can't. I can't. Maggie, I saw your great conversation with Adelia. Oh, I'm going to do another one with her. I like her. She's funny. More discussions are needed for provision for the aging. I am going to, my conversation with Adelia, probably going to be a long one. It's going to center around comparing Mexico to Panama. Now, this girlfriend of mine, well, I think she's a friend. Um, she is coming from Mexico, having gotten her residency, but she hasn't lived there. So I can't really, I can ask her about the visa process at some point, but Adelia's been there a long time, so she knows Mexico. So if I have questions, don't talk about the visa process, really for retirees, you know, you guys are my audience. I'm not thinking about the young people who with children. That's not my thing because I don't know. That's why when they ask me, I say, listen, I can't give you advice on international school or anything like that. That's not what I do because I haven't researched that. So you need to talk to somebody else, like them butlers, you know, they're into those age groups. You know, things like the visa process, the financial requirements. From what I've heard, Mexico, as and Greta can speak to that a little bit, has increased their requirements for how much money you should show that you're making a month, and they may have different requirements in terms of do you have to stay a certain amount of time to maintain your residency. My friend, I think she had a residency. I can't say it was a year, and then she went back. She said she got it permanent, and I'm like, "Is it for 3 years?" She said, "Nope, that's it." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know," but she used an attorney and a facilitator, so her process was seamless. Um, Maybe if she has any demographics, numbers, I don't even think we have those here. We don't know how many people are here. I don't know who's keeping count. Maybe challenges, you know, healthcare in Mexico compared to Panama. There's all I can say about Panama because it's like really convoluted for older people. Um, Cultural challenges, maybe safety. Somebody said in the chat they got robbed a couple of times. I got robbed. So we can talk about that. We can talk about the community, and then we can talk about aging, any programs for aging. I know the young lady who does the relocation, she's got like her Airbnb where people can stay. I forgot her name. And I think she was going to buy some property and retrofit them for older folks. That's something to know. I know there was a lady who brought her elderly mom there, and she said she's able to hire people to take care of her mom, which makes it easier and less expensive for her and mom with better quality of life, you know, all things like that. And what do they do for fun? I know here, the seniors here be popping. Let me tell you, they're going. They're busy here. So it's going to be fun. And somebody said, can you ask her about investing after 60? And I'm like, that is not that kind of show. Adelia will do some consultation if you talk to her on a one-on-one, and I'm sure she'll help you with that question. Co-living. I believe, yes, I think we'll touch on that too. Yes. Well, there is a Golden Girl thing here, I believe. And I know of two sets of co-livers here in my immediate area, and it's been working great for them. Hmm. I go back and forth about it. Would I be open to it? I don't know. I go back and forth. I don't know. But co-living is becoming a lot more of an option, not just for financial, but just a sisterhood and companionship. and having somebody, so if you drop somewhere, in the room, and they can call 911 or somebody for you. So, yes. Is it difficult to open a bank account? No. I just helped two sisters to open their bank account, and then I went and opened another bank account. And as long as you have your paperwork, what they want, most of the banks will want to see your lease agreement with your current address on the lease, and it needs to be notarized. Everything has to be notarized here in Panama. Okay, being a notary is good business. And you need to have a copy of your electric bill, because all bills come via email. So you just download it and print it. And again, don't say, "Oh, I have a digital copy on my phone." No, they want a copy. Print it. Papel. They want it, right? And let's see, what else do they want? They want your benefits letter. They want to see where your money is coming from, and then your passport. Once you have those, the other thing is the exchange, the language, right? If you don't speak Spanish, get someone to go with you. They have people called fixers. You can pay to go with you to do that. If you're lucky, especially one bank here called Banco General, the General Bank, you may come across somebody who can communicate with you. But your Google Translate will work. And then, maybe a couple of hours. It's not difficult at all. Now, remember, the account that you're going to get is going to be ahorro. Ahorro means savings. It's a savings account. We don't have checkbooks here, none of that. Okay. Once you leave the bank, before you leave, they'll give you your debit card, and there is one of those, envelopes that you have to kind of open. Your PIN is in there, and then you have access to your money. You can go to the bank's ATM, withdraw money, no fees if it's from your bank, only if you are using uh, your debit card or credit card for an international account. Then you get charged the 650 per ATM withdrawal, and you are limited to 250 per day. All right. But this bank called Banco General, they have an app called Yappy. Yappy is like you download the app on your phone, and then your number is your local cell number. You cannot get Yappy with the US number. You have to have a Panama number, right? And then you log on, and you can QR code the merchant, and beep. So a lot of places use Yappy. And that's why I went and opened one. I was tired of having to go to the bank to get cash to go buy fish and vegetables. So now I have Yappy. Ooh. And that's why I went crazy the other day with the oxtail and the fish. I got Yappy crazy. Nope, it's not hard at all. And that's another thing. I was talking to my lady earlier. She's like, "Well, how do I transfer money from my bank account in the US to my bank account here?" You can do a few things. You can do a ACH transfer, but you are moving money from one country to another, so you're going to pay international fees. I think it's like $55 from your bank in the US to here, and when it gets here, there's another fee. I don't know because I haven't done it. Maybe $10, $15, right? So you're looking at about $65 a pop on the average to make one transfer. So what you might want to do is transfer, as much money as you can below 10,000, and leave it in your bank here. That way you can pay your bills for a few months, and you don't have to keep paying all these, transfer fees. Somebody told me she said she writes a check from her bank account over there and deposits here, but that's going to take about a month to clear. So you got to time yourself if that's what you're doing. But I think an ACH transfer is the easiest to do. All right. And there are other options as well, but I don't need to go into that right now. Julie, for those disabled, the cemented sidewalks are not what you expect. Yeah, you have to be very aware. That is true. Have you been here, Greta? I didn't think she had been here before. Oh. You have to be aware. That's why I said don't be taking pictures and be distracted. Look where you're stepping, okay? I've seen where people have lost limbs or their lives from infections being dirty water. Yes, ma'am. That's why you don't play around with that. That's why I said don't put your foot in like water that's deep. You don't know what's in that water. Mm-mm. And it's like your skin is your, best protection. And you may have a scratch, to wear of. Like, don't do that. And of course, you are vantage. You got to take care and be aware. All right. The flesh eating bacteria, that is no joke. Yes. The walking concern, I mean, no one's going to tell you Panama City is safe to be walking around for somebody. People, there's a lady here who had broken both ankles, two people, and people have broken elbows and stuff from falling. Yes. Because, as you get older, your depth perception is not even good anymore because you're stepping down, you're forgetting you're going down, and then your knee buckles up. Listen, it's not fun getting old. So you got to be more careful. Good walking shoes. There could be a snake in the water. Yes, ma'am. And now in Panama, we're seeing a lot more crocodiles in the rivers. And even they tell me across the water from where I live, they've seen crocodiles in there. I'm from Florida. We have alligators. Here they have crocodiles with a long, no bueno para mí. Mm-mm. I should have said those who have challenges, the same in Mexico. Oh, okay. I'm just aware. You should be. Nothing bad. That is how Mexico is. I'm just aware. I don't think it's just Mexico. It's wherever you go, you pay attention, right? Some of the buses do have wheelchair accessibility. I haven't seen that here yet. They talked about it in the news once or twice, but nothing yet. Okay, Lynette, you're going to go to Mexico. I want to visit too, but maybe not this year, maybe next year. I walk extremely slow so I can see where I am going. Fasting and believing God to do what He will do. Okay. Michelle. Oh, yes, this is a lady's name, Michelle Wundenberg. I think, yes, you're right. Does she have a senior community? I thought I was reading that she was retrofitting some places for older folks. Wow, people waste their breath on complaining. Some people enjoy that. It's part of the exercise for them. Yep. Oh, there's more. Okay. You're welcome. My pleasure to share what I know. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't. When I was coming a while back, I was advised early on to think about it because of low vision. Yes, no bueno. Not this black girl. I'm trying to be strategic in my navigating with slow challenges. Yeah, yeah. With low vision, you stay home at night and, you kind of plan where you're going and you just have to be intentional, right? About how you move about. Like me, when I travel, I know I don't usually like rent a car the first time I visit a place. I have to know the layout yet. So I might take a car ride or a Uber ride to get my bearing. The next time I come, I might rent a car, right? Because I don't want, even if you driving a car in a strange place, you might end up in some places you have no business being. I know when I was visiting Panama, I walked everywhere, but I got into some areas I was like, Maggie, you're not supposed to be here. It was in the middle of the day. I don't go out at night, even now, but it was like, no bueno, you need to get out of there. I remember getting lost looking for something one day, and the people were just staring because, they can pick you out of a crowd. And then I saw a security guy. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I need to go over here. Look at him. I said, yeah, you way past where you're supposed to be. No, 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 no. So I know. So, and then you can find yourself in some sticky situation being in places you have no business being in as a foreigner. So be smart. You've now been in Bukete 4 months waiting for my permanent visa. You're very happy here. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. You know, Bukete, for everything we talk about Bukete, there are things about Bukete you don't like or I don't like. But the freshness, the nature, oh, it's so beautiful. It's God's country, right? So, and there is a growing African American population in Bukete. So it's like, things are kind of, uh, you know, not so unbalanced as it used to be before. And I know Charlotte Van Horn went maybe a couple of years back and she met with a bunch of the ladies, who live there, and they seem pretty happy. It's just not my vibe. Like I go to countries and I said, yeah, it's nice, just not my vibe, right? So I don't have to explain why I like it, why I don't like it. It's just not for me, but it's for somebody else. And that's the live and let live thing, right? If she loves it, celebrate her. You don't have to have an opinion. I don't have an opinion. I'm very happy for your life lesson. I have a sister who lived in Volcan. She moved to the city and she's like, I'm not going back to Volcan because she said there was not much to do and she's a go, go, go. And so right now we have a SWAT member in Volcan and she loves it. She's got a couple of dogs. There is a lady here in town who's moving to Bukete because she got a little dog, and she said the little dog misses open spaces. When you're in an apartment, I don't even know, a dog underfoot all the time, it's kind of hard. These are animals, they need to be out in the fresh air. So she's moving. She said, it's not just for me. My dog needs open spaces. I understand that. I do. The name of the YouTube channel for Michelle is Choose Panama? I thought you said she was in Mexico. It can be Choose Panama then. I'm confused. I thought Michelle was the lady with the Airbnb, or she's got a place that people stay at when they're visiting Mexico, and she does a relocation tour, several days worth. But I'm thinking there might be a channel called Choose Panama. I'm not sure. Yeah. Any other questions, ladies and gent? Oh, Michelle from Mexico. Yes, Casa Elm. Yes, Greta, you're right. So she is promoting senior living here in Panama? That's interesting. I've never heard of that. First time. Hacienda Elm, sí. San Miguel de Allende, sí. Oh. People are really capitalizing on the senior living thing. I mean, I'm not in a rush to, I don't want to go into, oh, I don't want to go into business at this stage in life. I don't want the headache hiring people. Not interested. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Somebody put in there that she said, choose Panama. And I'm like, she's in Mexico. How could she? Okay. Yes, that's what I saw. She has the hotel or whatever, and then she does a relocation tour. And of course, she's a businesswoman. She sees opportunities in senior living, and she had bought like a hacienda with different units, not that many, but she was retrofitting it when I saw her talk about it for seniors, because everybody is trying to find a place to put their head so that they're not in the street. Like in the news, Greta was talking about it today. They were saying that there's an expat who died here, but she didn't have any family, and they said she didn't even have somebody to claim her body. So a group of people got together and gave her a send off. Listen, it happens. I do have somebody they can call to come, not claim my body, but at least say goodbye. I don't want my body taken anywhere else. But just to have nobody, that's kind of sad. That is really sad. Clear path to aging with ease. Oh, interesting. So choose Panama. What is that? Is that hers too? Ah, okay, a channel. Yes, I think I've seen that. Yeah, no, I didn't know anything about Panama. I think I misunderstood. That's okay. Casa Elm. Yes, yes, I've heard that. Yep. But anyway, in Panama, in terms of aging, I've seen a lot more uh, nursing home, assisted living type little casitas and casas popping up here for the elderly, because just like anywhere in the world, people are living longer. And even in the news, they're talking about the challenges coming, and they give us numbers. How many? I think it was like close to like 500,000 of people over 60. Because here in Panama, the age that they think you're old is 60, not 65. Because the retirement age for female is 55 and for male is 60. That's when you can start getting benefits. So that's why if you get to be 60, if you have land somewhere, you go in the interior and enjoy your life. But because of demographics and things becoming more expensive, and culturally, like in a lot of places, the expectation was that the children would take care of the parents, the extended family. But now, if they have to go out to work, then what happens to mom, grandpa, and grandma? So they end up either staying home. I've seen in the news some people feel kind of neglected by their families who have to work. So the country is beginning to grapple with the issues that we've been talking about over there. It's like we're living longer, so what? Who's going to care for these folks? And that little square, I tell you that in each community, you have the church and the square. You see a lot of people sitting there doing nothing, and you're like, they could do better, like in a adult daycare facility or other things. So this is something we're going to see a lot. But I visited an assisted living here, and they do have an Alzheimer's wing, but the prices were similar to what you would pay in the States. So obviously, um, their clientele that they're looking at are people with money. And people who would have money would be your expats or people who are well off here. And when I took the tour, I did see some people, didn't look like us. Their family probably had some means for them to take care of them. But now I'm seeing a lot more smaller, not on that scale, but they'll have a home with maybe 4 or 5, areas, and then they have patients in there. There is one place here that is owned by a Panamanian lady and an American gentleman, and they've opened a place that is, it's not really assisted living, it's like similar to like nursing home, but not on that facility scale, and they take care of people. Well, they're full, and so I've seen, a lot of things come on my feed with those little smaller homes to care for the elderly. So the families are having to say, okay, we can't take care of grandma, but we can put her in that facility. So this is something that's kind of new, because it's not something that typically people think about here. Just like in your culture, South American, African, you just know that you're going to take care. I mean, my grandmother lived with us until she died. So one of the children will take her in. But now we're starting to grapple with that. But the issue it is for us is that if, I'm taking note of all these facilities, but then it's like, what is the staff? Do they speak English? No. Culturally, it's not the same. The food will be different. But if you live in Panama, you're gonna know your rice and peas and chicken, so you'll be okay. But for me personally, the reason I'm here is that I don't want to end up in a home like that. I want to have people come to my home. That's what SWRA is pushing. right? So if you are in a co-living situation, that kind of helps. Not that your co-liver is going to be taking care of you, but you can coordinate to hire people to come in. So the savings that you're making from the rent, because you're splitting it, then you can say, okay, it's going to be in my budget for somebody to come, because you're not going to ever have any trouble finding workers, trained workers who can communicate with you. That's another problem. When they come to care for you, can they communicate with you? Well, you say, well, I have Google Translate, but if you kind of older, your eyes don't work, and you have a little memory thing going on, this is not going to help you. So that's another challenge, So it's like the issue is exponential. It's not as easy as we think it is. What we're trying to say with SWRA is like we'll stand in the gap. So you would have somebody like Maggie coming in, communicating with the person just to make sure you're being taken care of, right? I know that I want to take care of everybody, and I think that is something people are looking at me like, oh, we need an advocate. I get that, but I'm not supposed to be working here, so I can't be anybody's advocate. All right. So it's like one thing after another to think. There is a building in Costa del Este that I told you is the newest planned community. They are building, they have a lot of high rises going up. And they said, I think the first 2 floors, they're going to dedicate those for an assisted living. But then again, those prices, people like us probably can't afford them, right? But I'm sure among the expat, they're going to have plenty of candidates who want to go in those places. I don't want to go in those places. I don't care how quirky, pretty, fancy it is. I don't want somebody to tell me when to take a shower, when to eat, sitting there with 30, 50 people eating lunch. I don't want that. I don't. That's me. But if somebody says, well, I know I'm going to end up in assisted living, no, I don't think like that. To each his own. You do you. Okay? But that is definitely a challenge for the expat community, wherever we go, because we are living longer and we need to come up. And that is a goal of SWRA, to create this environment. Right now, we just go into the cultural assimilation, how things are done here, and they're not done the same. I'm just putting it out there. So it's like you got to relearn how things are done. And in Panama, as in anywhere, if you're a foreigner, you need local support to figure out how things work. Okay? Oh, you had the wrong Michelle. Okay. All right. Choose Panama channel. I think she said Choose Panama is a YouTube channel, and then Aging with Ease, it's Michelle's catchphrase, I guess. I saw the other day a YouTube video encouraging people to practice sitting on floor so you can strengthen your body and legs to get up quicker, because she said that, yeah, I've seen that. But we do the sit to stand. Anything you do, you need to straighten your legs up. Yeah, the squats and sit to stand, that's good. Going further than what we do in exercising. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But it is true. You want your legs. But remember, Greta, don't believe everything you hear. Every single week is a different thing that they tell you. Don't listen to all of that. Just do what you need to do to strengthen your body and keep it moving. Tai Chi walking, all this mess. And I'm like, every week they come with something different. I saw a video of a 70-year-old built 5 teeny homes. Oh, that's the one you sent me, Greta. I haven't read it yet. To support aging women. Yeah. I just don't want to take responsibility for older people. That is way too much responsibility that I want. No. In the state, we have what we call care managers. The care managers are like social workers or people like myself who are being paid a monthly fee to kind of oversee the care of an older person. So if the person, let's say a couple living in one state and their children, adult children, live somewhere out, they hire the care manager to monitor the care. So they would make regular visits, make sure, they're eating, taking their medications, and they're keeping their doctor's appointment, arrange transportation, the house is taken care of. If they're still living at home, the gardener, they manage a checkbook, which is something that, if you start having a little memory, you forget to pay the bills, and this is no bueno. If they are in assisted living, then that care manager become the eye, because when you're in a facility, the more visible you are, the better care you're gonna get, because they know somebody's coming. Otherwise, if nobody visits you, God help you, right? Those are care managers. But in Florida, there's also people who have nobody, and then they end up going to court to be assigned a what do they call those people? They have a name for people who, an advocate, kind of an advocate that is assigned by a judge. I'm just forgetting the word. But this social worker had a bunch of those people that she was courtly appointed to care for them and their businesses. No, it's not. They don't call it advocate. Guardian, a guardian, and they were, because then they have access to their finances. That this is where, mankind, she was just using people money left and right. And finally, I don't know how she got caught. She was arrested and was going to jail. And I'm like, but it's the temptation that these people don't know what they're doing. So you think you can just use their money like that? So there you go. It's crazy. Uh, you be working on it for weight loss. Correct, Maggie. At this age, we don't want no more work. We only accept ease. Yeah, I just don't want to. Like yesterday, this sister was saying, "Oh, Maggie's thinking about opening a cafe," and I'm like, "I am. No, I don't want to work that hard again. Been there, done that." Hi, Maggie. How is the dental services in Panama? Great. I don't hear anyone talking about it. As you know, in USA, the price is to the roof. Nope, nope, nope. People come here to get work done. People come to get crowns and other things done to their teeth. Everything is much better here. They have dental surgeries. You can get your teeth cleaned for, like, with my jubilado discount, I pay like $30 or $32 to get my teeth cleaned. And I supposedly go every 3 or 4 months. Yeah, because I had gum disease way in the past and had to have surgery and implants. But it definitely is better, right? But a lot of medical tourism is accessible and done in Colombia, right next door to us. So if you need like a hip or knee surgery, and you can go to Colombia, get it done for cheaper. Okay, they're really good, and they have English speaking staff. I mean, I'm not in Colombia. I'm not making a plug for them. I'm just saying, from what I hear, that reminds me, there was a sister who came to one of our meetings, and she said they even have some rehab place in the mountain somewhere that after you have your surgery, you can go for rehab there for a few weeks, and then you can come back home walking. Yes. Yes, dental services are good. All right. Now, when I go to, I think somebody referred me to this. It's a little Chinese doctor, and I go in there. There are no dental hygienists. The doctor cleans your teeth. Okay. Just like they'll say, "Oh, you go to Panama, you see the doctor, Doctor Tawana. You're going to enjoy that. You go see the doctor, not the nurse, not the nurse practitioner. I don't even know they have nurse practitioners here. So they're really proud of that, that the doctor does the work. Uh, Personal representative, guardian. Yeah, that's the word. No bueno. Yes, guardianship. You're right. She got arrested because she was taking these people's money, these poor defenseless people. Ay, yeah, 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 yeah. This is just so sad. But anyway, so now I was like, what do you do with those people now, Judge? Okay. It's like, I don't want to be anybody's guardian. Mm-mm. I don't want the responsibility. No bueno, no bueno. Now, I can accompany you to a physician's. Hey, Brenda. I can accompany you to a physician to translate for you, but I'm not responsible for you for your care. No, I don't want that responsibility. And that's why somebody said, "Oh, Maggie, we need an advocate." First of all, I can't work. I'm retired here. Okay, and again, that's a responsibility I don't want. I can guide you. I'm not giving you medical advice. This is a disclaimer. All right. And the doctors here are so good. You don't need me to tell you what the doctor is saying. You might need me to translate what the doctor is saying. But the doctors, most of them here speak English. So they'll be able to talk to you. They take time, they listen to you. The care is very personalized. This is the first thing people notice here about healthcare in Panama. People care, they listen to you, you feel listened to, you can ask your question. The initial visit with a physician can last for an hour and a half here. They're looking at everything, your medication, they take you off the duplicates, which is what happens over there where you have 5, 6 different specialists, they're all ordering things and nobody's managing the store. No bueno. We call that polypharmacy. People have multiple, you have a generic here, another medication brand name, and then they're like, falling. And I told you this example of the blood pressure lady. When they say, oh, you 75 years old, oh, your blood pressure should be 120 over 80 or below. Not everybody needs that, right? So they kept putting this old lady on multiple medications. She went there 130 over 78. Nuh-uh, you're not optimal. We got to put another one. 3 blood pressure medications. She got dizzy, fell, and broke her hip. And I've told you before, breaking a hip could be the beginning of your downfall because we don't do well as women. So she ended up, with surgery. After surgery, you can have complication, you can have wound infection. Sometimes you have the hardware you're rejecting and they have to open it, take it up with another one in. Then you have to have rehab. And in rehab, it's like a nursing home. If they're overworked, God help you. The lady started having complication after another, a little bladder infection here, a little pneumonia. She died from breaking a hip that was due to over medication. This is where your advocate, who's a medical person, can help to say, no, no, no. And we tell people when you go see your doctor, take all your medication bottles with you so they can see that you're taking too much of this, too much of that. It's a mess. It is not a pretty picture, I'm telling you. And here in Panama, you can walk into any pharmacy and order your own medication. Do you know that? You can take your bottle and then they're gonna fill it out for you. You don't need a doctor's prescription for blood pressure, diabetes medication. No. So that's can be dangerous too. Who's manning the store? Go to your doctor, tell them exactly what you're taking, take all your bottles, including your supplements, because sometimes they don't work together. So all these people telling you to get thistle and this and that, you can, you advantage. Be careful. It's easy to over medicate yourself. No bueno. All right. Anything else, ladies? You know how I can talk. That's a no bueno right there. That's what. Do you teach Spanish? Yes, I do. I have 4 Spanish classes going on now. Ooh, I don't know if I can put another one in. Today I had my very first class. We started in April of last year. It's like, almost a year, so we got to celebrate. But I'm getting them to talk, and they're getting a little bit better. And Greta can testify to that. But I have 4 Spanish classes, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I'm not a certified teacher, but what I know, I share it. Okay, because you want to be able to speak. I think I answered that question about the dental. All right, ladies, almost 2 hours of free advice. Anything else? Any other burning question? Any burning question? Let's see. There's not much going on in Panama. It's just hot. Um, Panama still struggles with the drug problem. You have two oceans, and every single day they're arresting them and they catching them, and the the way they try to hide the drug is just like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, and we have like logistics is a big thing here in Panama. Lots of boxes and train bringing things. It's easy to hide something in there. And they say most of the drug that go through here, I heard this lady say it comes from Ecuador. Who would think about that? I don't know. It's not Mexico. It's Ecuador. Like, wow. Big business, big business. But when you have poverty, people need to eat. I'm not judging, but we know it's a problem, right? Especially with our young people. It's a no bueno. And to this day, I'm in my closet praying for my kids because just to think your kids are grown, you think they're safe? Mm-mm. Mhm. Yep. These conversations are always awesome. Yeah, because you have Maggie. Yep. She talks too much. Thank you so much. Yeah, hit the like button. All right, guys. Is there anything else? Now I have to finish my class duties. Anything else? Hola, Brenda. It's good to see you. What's the best way to have my lamps? Your lamps. Oh, are they fragile, Brenda? You may have to hire a carrier, one of the logistic people, because they have to wrap them really, carefully and then ship them. But I think a lot of them work with like pallets. But if it's just the lamps, ooh, I don't know. You can call them and see if they would do like a smaller shipment, I would say. Okay. Thank you, Linda. The wisdom comes from being old, 67. That's a lot of years, right? But yesterday I was in the car with my 89-year-old friend. She was driving me around, and she's inside Panama City. She drove me, and she did good, better than I would do. Yes, I would call a logistic. If you want, Brenda, if you ask me, I'll send you some names, and you can contact them and tell them exactly what you want, because they'll wrap them for you stateside and then ship them over. Yep. If those lamps are that important to you, yes. I talked to someone, she's like, I have so many clothes. I'm like, you don't need to bring all that here. You don't have anywhere to wear all these fancy clothes. Mm-mm. We just very plain and comfy here. Like you want things that can breathe. That's what's important, right? All right, ladies and gents. Anything else? Okay, Brenda was saying something else. Oh, you're welcome, Brenda. Yeah. If I forget to send it to you, send me a little note, and then I will send you the names uh, of two or three of the logistic companies, and that's what they do. They move people around, but usually they're moving a lot more. Is what I'm saying. But when you say just the lamps, just find out. Doesn't hurt to ask, right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you stayed entertained. And we will see you tomorrow on the live. I'm just cooking that tuna that I bought. I'm making fish soup. And I know a couple of the ladies yesterday said, we're coming to get soup. And I'm like, okay, I got to get some for me too. So many elderly people now have lost an organ. Ooh, you don't hear so many people mentioning this abroad. What kind of organ you talking about? Like a leg, an organ? They've lost an organ. What have they lost? I'll be joining your age in June. Yes. Maria, what do you mean? Marla, what kind of organs have they lost? They've lost an organ. I'm stumped. Can you lose an organ and be still be living? I mean, you can lose a limb, a leg. If you can clarify, that would be great. Um, well, the best hospital here is Pacifica Salud, that is associated with John Hopkins in the state, and they're Joint Commission accredited, and they follow the same system. Oh, gallbladder, appendix. Yeah, we have those surgeries here, of course. I mean, excuse me, that's general medical care, right? You get hip done, you remove your gallbladder. Yeah, they do those surgeries. Yeah. Appendix, I'm sure they have them. Not so much, but gallbladder, definitely. Yeah, no problem here. They do all kinds of surgeries here. And people have had their gallbladder out, they've had knee replacements, they've had open heart surgeries. I don't know about brain surgery. There are certain things that you're gonna have to, but the usual stuff they do, no problem. Uterus? I'm sure they do. I'm not aware. I still have mine, but I'm sure if you if you ask the doctor, they'll tell you. Yeah, they do all kinds of surgeries here. So it's just a matter of. That's why you need to have like a primary doctor, and then they refer you to the specialist. Because remember, the doctors here are mandated by law to go through the private system and the public system. So when you go into a public hospital, it's not like you're going to have a lower quality level type of doctor. The doctors seamlessly they move through the both systems, right? So, and then we have a place called Ciudad de la Salud, City of Health, where it is a government sponsored type of campus where they have specialties, oncology, cardiology, nephrology, you know, uh, pediatrics, the more complex cases. And apparently, it's also a place where we get referrals here from all over Latin America. So it's like a referral center for more complex cases. So I remember there was a young girl who was here with her mom. She had an episode and she was admitted to the pediatric hospital here. And then I was translating for the mom because she was distraught, and I was asking the doctor because we didn't know what was wrong with the little girl. And I'm like, well, are you considering sending her to the City of Health? And she's like, no, we don't have to do that. We have all the specialties here. So, yeah, you're okay. It's just that as you get older, you got to pay for your care because that tarjeta, I told you, you got to have your credit card in hand. If you don't have insurance, they won't touch you until you pay for something. So, got to think twice before you come. You either buy international insurance or you buy catastrophic type of insurance so that you have some coverage. But either way, you end up paying for some of your care. You know how we come from the US and we think 100% way back when you had insurance paying 100%. No more. You're going to pay for some of that. Okay. Thank you, Lacey. You like me? Chop, 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 chop. All right, now for real, it's been 2 hours and 4 minutes. Okay, I have to stop. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. I enjoy chatting with you, and I share what I know. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't. Okay, like I said, check Jackie. Uh, what's her last name? I forgot what her last name is, but Panama Relocation Tour. She gives a lot of good information. All right, and just like me, she has like I think she had a couple of lives when she goes through the whole. She had the same questions over and over again about moving to Panama. She will probably answer Brenda's question about how to um, Brenda, if you go onto her website, you might be able to find a couple of referrals of logistic companies. I'll give you some, but just in case, you never have too many, and then reach out to them and then ask them questions. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Harvesting organs. Uh, I hope that's not what she meant. Or maybe she meant organ donation. I don't, maybe that's what she's talking about. You know how you say you an organ donor over there on your driver's license? I'm not too familiar. Jackie Lang, thank you so much. Yes, I'm not too familiar with that, how that works here. I don't have a driver's license. I don't know if they ask that question on your driver's license. But a kidney transplant, would you have that done here? I don't know. I'd have to do a lot more research if I needed something like that done. Even dialysis is a question people ask a lot because it's like convoluted. If you have renal failure and you're in dialysis, you better stay in the city because those hospitals in the interior are chronically running out of, there's no water, there's no this, no that, and then people are not getting dialyzed. That's a no bueno. Okay? You cannot miss your dialysis session. That's life and death. Don't do that. Stay in the city. All right, guys, Auntie, Greta, all of you ladies and Jen, thank you for joining me. I'm going to sign off. I will talk to you soon. God loves you. I love you. Over. Bye. Thank you, guys.